4 rolls of slide film, 1 week in the Pacific Northwest. This is what this video is about. But first, we must get on a plane. After a dozen hours in the air, we landed in SeaTac.
And you are checked through to the final destination. Just follow the signs for your next departure gate. The flight information screens will give you all the relevant information.
The unapologetically verdant Pacific Northwest was within our reach. The dream of vibrant film colors that only slide film can really deliver was finally upon us. This film shot of a USPS backlot was taken on Kodak Ektachrome. This summer shot is also Ektachrome. This rhododendron close-up was shot on Ektachrome under very harsh light. It's retained quite a bit of detail. Meanwhile, this sunny place setting has that wonderful Kodak warmth. This is the US after all, so it meant a lot of driving. With my camera in tow, a Canon film SLR from the 90s with a trio of lenses, a 28, a 50, and a 55 to 200mm zoom, which allow me to fully capture the white vistas, the Americana, and the spectacle of nature. This gorgeous early 80s sedan, I think it's a Mercury Grand Marquis, was shot in Kodak Ektachrome. Meanwhile, as a counterpoint, this Harley was shot on Fujifilm Velvia 100. The red and the chrome reflections really do pop. The resolving power of Fujifilm Velvia is quite something, and we're going to see more shots from that roll from a day trip to Mount St. Helens, the volcano that famously erupted in 1980. These 2 angles of this mural in Toledo, Washington, marking the entrance into the Mount St. Helens National Park, were shot on Fujifilm Velvia. Same deal with this shot of Toledo Market, where we stopped to grab some snacks. We then had to fill up the truck, which is when I shot this seemingly quotidian scene of the back of a gas station with nature encroaching on Fujifilm Velvia 100. Speaking of nature encroaching, just across the road from the gas station there was an abandoned home being devoured by nature. I just took the shot as we were turning away from the gas station. And speaking of gas stations, here are some shots of an abandoned one on the way to Mount St. Helens, taken on Kodak Ektachrome. That discarded teddy bear between the pumps is looking particularly uncomfortable. This shot through the window of the Rest Stop gift shop was taken on Velvia 100. This rocky ridgeline was also photographed on Velvia 100, Just look at those greens. Now, the view from the rest stop was absolutely breathtaking. So I was switching between my wide lens to the long lens for the next shots that you're going to see. I took these on Velvia 100, and the passing clouds added some drama to the landscapes. I wanted to also close in on the winding riverbed. Its sinewy and silvery contours contrasted powerfully with the surrounding greenery, once again demonstrating the resolving power and the dynamics of Velvia 100. This is Cold Water Lake. It was created by the eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980. These lakeside shots are also taken on Velvia 100. They were some of my last shots from this roll. And now we switch over to Kodak Ektachrome. As you can see, still delivering punchy contrast and color. I shot all these photos at box speed, so 100 ISO. I love these close-ups of that little island with the solitary tree growing on it. And we finally made it to the Mount St. Helens Science and Learning Center, where we would get the best view of Mount St. Helens. And I was ready for my photo shoot with a volcano. All shot on Ektachrome with a long lens to get up close and personal with this historied location. I recommend that you look for pictures of Mount St. Helens before 1980. It looked like Mount Fuji in Japan, so very different from the scarred mountain that's missing a whole side of today. Ektachrome did a fantastic job capturing the rock detail and all the color nuances on display. Also, Credit is due to the National Park Service for the wonderful and informative viewing area that they've respectfully built into the landscape, and it's staffed by knowledgeable people as well. On the way back, we drove by Joint Base Lewis-McChord, and I got this footage of their Hueys and various APCs and weapon systems that they have on display. This close-up of some tiny red berries was shot on Velvia 100. Check back on the red Harley close-up from earlier on and you'll see what I mean. Meanwhile, this next shot of a river flowing through a forest is Kodak Ektachrome. This Ektachrome shot is full of Pacific Northwest vibes. It looks like a David Lynch TV show location. That's kind of also what I'm going for with the background music. More glorious Ektachrome here. Even in challenging light, it still performs. This, after all, it's 100 ASO film. The colors are great, and despite the far from sunny disposition of the scene, the greens look fantastic. I love this shot. The greenish blue of the water and the smoothly faceted rocks are all rendered beautifully with Ektachrome. Slide film colors are something else. This is Ektachrome at its best. An ominous cabin in the woods captured in Kodak Ektachrome E100. An A-frame cabin by the river, and I'll be honest here, the autofocus struggled, so I did apply some sharpening in post, but the colors are faithful to what came out of the scanner. And I almost ate it trying to take this shot. I had to brace myself against a very slick cliff face. And this was the view facing away from the waterfall. At this point, I should say that if I'm not specifying the film stock, just assume it's Kodak Ektachrome E100. All the shots featured in this video were scanned on an Aritsu at a very highly rated film lab. Another day trip, so we went in search of an abandoned mining boomtown, and while we did see a mining shaft and some steel cables running along the ground, everything else was swallowed up by the endless nature of the Pacific Northwest. Even with a cloud cover, these photos have fantastic color and contrast. I love the bokeh in this yellow flower shot. It has a circular and wispy feel. Meanwhile, in this shot, you can really appreciate the patterns at the center of the flowers. So lush and so green. So calming. And now we're back in Seattle, by the water, as you can see. Time for some more shots. No commuter comforts today. But how about some patriotic pinball? Totally worth it for the colors. This was taken on Bainbridge Island at the ferry terminal. However, this shot was taken back in Seattle, not too far from the Center for Wooden Boats. And this shot right here was by the Center for Wooden Boats. You gotta love that little hut on the water. And here are some more boats for good measure. Speaking of boats, here we are boarding a ferry. It's the MV Tacoma, and we're walking right on through the passenger gantry. Morning. While we were docked, I took some shots of the Seattle waterfront. I'm very happy with this one. Although I have to say that the colors in this one are arguably a bit better. And we're away on the Puget Sound with Seattle behind us. See the guy with the red shirt behind the life raft? He had a camera with the same lens mount as me, so I ended up lending him my long lens so he could take a couple of shots with his own camera. This was a great chance to put the 55 to 200mm telezoom lens through its paces. Another marina this time, on Bainbridge Island. There's a ferry again, and a tiny plane in the sky, probably taking off from SeaTac, in the top left. Now that's what I call waterfront property. The long lens compression really messed with my sense of scale and distance. What a perfect day. It was time to head back after a day on Bainbridge Island, and once again that focal compression is making Seattle look closer than it really is. Some ladies enjoying the maritime air, and the view, of course. The ferry footage from this return journey was shot by my partner. Well, the vignetting is pretty strong on these shots. I quite like it. The ferry ride really allowed you to take in the full Seattle skyline. And as we got closer, more details came into view. What a view. Add to that a refreshing sea breeze. Pure perfection. Now this is what I brought the long lens for, capturing Mount Rainier in all its glory on a sunny day. And this ferry really did me a solid by lining up so beautifully with the mountain. And there's another passing ferry that I zoomed into, with parts of Seattle, more residential areas in the background. And we're getting closer to the city. It was time to let the Space Needle do its thing. And as we approach the dock while a plane races overhead, it's time to bring this video to a close. I'll finish by reiterating how happy I am with having been able to document the unparalleled beauty of the Pacific Northwest on slide film. I think that slide film produces some truly outstanding colors. It trades negative film's maybe better dynamic range for colors that literally pop off the screen in many cases. As an aside, I truly hope that Fujifilm gets back to its roots and starts making more film, because Velvia 100 is something very special. Slide film could really be their way back into the market in a big way. So Fuji, if you're watching, You know the score. Enjoying these pictures makes me want to learn the E6 process for developing slide film. It's definitely more challenging than the C41 negative film process I've been getting familiar with these past few months, but I really think it will be worth the effort. Thank you for watching. Take care.